I've been a nurse for 21 years this month, actually, and an
Ooh.
LNC for a little over 8 years. Um, and my business name is Ford Consulting. So whenever you work as a legal nurse consultant, most of the time it's your own business and you develop an LLC. So Ford Consulting is that, and it's named after my first son. His name is Ford. So yeah, that's about how it all is.
I love that. And you've been in LNC for about 8 years now, is that right?
Yeah.
That's quite a bit of time. I'm running into a lot of LNCs that are just breaking into it in the last year, last couple of months. So I'm definitely seeing a rise in LNCs, but I was really excited when I figured out how long you've been doing this for. And recently you've pivoted to helping nurses become LNCs. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Talk a little bit more about that.
So I like to share on social media, but I started sharing as a new mom account, just thinking, like I learned a lot in my beginning days of being a new mom and started sharing like that. And then once I was doing legal nurse consulting full time, I started sharing bits of that. And I started getting tons of DMs, just people messaging me, hey, what is that? Where do I get started? What do I have to do? And I really wanted to develop some sort of, I don't know, guide to help them because I was literally sending an email. At first, I would just like free form it and say, here's how it goes. And then I developed an email that had links. And then I was like, I just feel like I want to give them more. More and more people just kept coming. And so it took me about a year to kind of figure out, okay, I really need to learn some more skills on how to do this and how to set it up. And I started with just a simple PDF guide. It was August of 23. I launched that. And I just kind of did that on the side of my legal nurse consulting until the end of the year last year. And then in January, I was just seeing that more nurses wanted more from me. They wanted more mentorship, they wanted more products, they just wanted more information. But I really wanted to go all in on that and give them what they wanted. And so I left my firm position and just started my mentorship program. And so that is where I'm at right now.
Wow. Wow. I just want to point out to my listeners, we talk a lot about doing market research and kind of figuring out what the market is saying to you and kind of meeting that demand with the product. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did right there. The market was really screaming to you that there were a lot of nurses looking for alternative careers and that you had a ton of experience in this alternative career and you kind of scaled up from there. So yeah, exactly what we always talk about here. Super interesting. And your mentorship seems pretty comprehensive. Actually, you were recommended to me from someone I think that took your mentorship. I think that's how I asked for you to be on this podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, you come highly recommended.
Thank you for that. I really pride in taking care of my nurses. They have lots of questions. And that was the biggest thing whenever I started. I had nobody to ask questions. It was literally trial and error. Does this work? Does that not work? How do I go about this? Googling a lot of information.
Mm,
So one of the parts of my mentorship is that you get to ask me questions whenever, via voicemail, like voice message on social media, or you can send me an email. We also have a community group that you can ask questions in. So I really wanted to bring that forth to nurses because I feel like that is how they get helped and they can be successful in this career, is being able to ask questions whenever they're getting started. There's just not a lot of information out there to Google and really figure it out. And that was kind of what the premise was behind my product, was to give you the realistic way to get started. I also, whenever I got started, I paid like $10,000 for a course because I was Googling and the same thing came to the top every single time. And then after I was doing it for 2 years, one of the nurses I was working with was like, hey, you didn't have to get that. You didn't need that certificate. And I was like, what?
mm,
And so she like really enlightened me to that. And so that was another thing that I really wanted to get that out there. A lot of people think that you have to pay thousands of dollars to get started, and it's just not necessary. You do not have to do that. So that is really where my social media point started and me really pushing this guide.
Yes, you are absolutely preaching to the choir for spending thousands. There's a pretty well-known writing course that costs thousands. And it's the first one that pops up on Google because of SEO. So everyone is driven towards it. And it's tough. So I do like keeping my rates well lower than that because I think a career shouldn't be hindered by someone's affordability to pay for a course when you don't even really need it. And a course can't teach you everything about everything anyways. So there's always going to be learning factors beyond that. So that's interesting that you picked up on that too, because some people do like to capitalize on like SEO and popping up in the search engine and charging a lot of money. And it's really tough.
Yeah.
So it's really tough. I definitely recommend everyone to do their research out there and don't just pop up on the first page of Google. Really
Yes.
explore your options and find something that is really supportive. I do the same thing actually with the people in my medical writing community. I always say, ask me questions, please ask me questions. Email our LinkedIn community, like whatever they need. And it also helps me understand where their thought process is and what resources I might be missing in my course and how I can buffer it up from there. I'm always trying to improve that thing. And the questions have really sparked new like workshops from that. So also doing your market research right there and benefiting the nurse too.